species.
Being a warrior means taking personal risks. Being a warrior can mean, for some in Earth First, breaking the law. It can mean committing acts of sabotage to protect the Earth, and even taking pictures of themselves doing it. One of their techniques is to wreck logging machinery by pouring sand or dirt into the engine. They call these actions monkey wrenching, sticking a monkey wrench into the gears of the industrial machine to make it stop.
Monkey wrenching is, in many ways, is using the tools of the devil against the devil.
Another Earth First tactic is to hammer long nails into trees logging companies plan to harvest, because workers can't safely cut those trees without a metal detector.
I've done all kinds of monkey wrenching.
Such as?
I've munched roads, I've spiked trees, I've siltated equipment.
And so we thought that by using the tactics that had been used by those before us, that we could bring some sanity to this area where they're actually destroying an ecosystem that's tens of thousands of years old for mega profits for corporations. They're destroying communities, they're destroying workers' lives, and we thought that by calling for making this a national movement and bringing the eyes of the nation on it, that we could stop this insanity. I think the energy is phenomenal. I think that every attempt that they've made to stop it has only made it bigger. Every time they call us the Terra Hydra. Every time they try to stomp out Earth First, it grows 3 new heads.
Now some say the Romans killed Jesus, and some say that it was the Jews, and some say that it was poor Judas, and some say it was me and you. But when I think of that cross he was nailed to, and the tree that was logged for the wood, I realize 'twas the loggers killed Jesus, and it's time that we got them back good. So spike a tree for Jesus, spike a tree for Jesus, we'll love you, you know. Spike a tree for Jesus, spike a tree for Jesus, and someday to heaven you'll go.
In November of 1997, I received a communication, much like the ones I had before from the ALF, but this one was different. It was claiming responsibility for an act of arson targeting a Bureau of Land Management horse corral just outside of Hines, Oregon, a very rural area in Oregon. And the individuals had gone and released all the wild horses from this facility and then burned the place down. And the actual group claiming responsibility was the Earth Liberation Front.
You may have heard of the Earth Liberation Front. The Attorney General himself says it's a domestic terrorist organization. The FBI says it is one of the most dangerous groups in the country. But what is the ELF? Who is the ELF?
The Earth Liberation Front is an international underground organization that uses direct action in the form of economic sabotage to try and directly stop the destruction of the natural environment. The organization is an environmental group, but also one that realizes the true cause of murder and destruction of life. They don't feel it's enough to work on individual single issues, but in addition, the capitalist state itself and its symbols of propaganda must also be targeted. It may be then more realistic to refer to the organization as one which is working to protect all life on this planet. The ELF is organized into autonomous cells, which operate anonymously and independently from one another and the general public. The group contains no hierarchy or central leadership, but instead operates under an ideology. And if an individual believes in that ideology and they follow a certain set of widely published guidelines, he or she can perform actions and become part of the Earth Liberation Front.
The Earth Liberation Front guidelines are as follows. Number 1, to cause maximum economic damage to a given entity that is profiting off the destruction of the natural environment. Number 2, to educate the public on the atrocities committed against the environment and life. And number 3, to take all necessary precautions against harming life.
And again, a lot of times when these acts have gone on, or on some occasions, ad hoc names will be used. You know, people come up with one of my favorites is the Anarchist Golfing Association. That was one of the ones I heard for some anti-golf course action. It was amusing. So I didn't know if the Earth Liberation Front was going to be an organization that would continue to be around, or if it was going to be a one-time shot. I did not know that the Earth Liberation Front would grow to be the most pressing domestic terrorism threat in the United States of America at this current time. I did not know that between 1997 and the current time that the group would inflict over $45 million in damages against entities profiting off the destruction of the natural environment. I did not know that between that time period that the Earth Liberation Front would be highly successful in getting away with targeting dozens and dozens and dozens of places, of individuals, of corporations, of government entities that continue to not give a damn about our soil that we all need to survive.
The Patriot Act defines terrorism as the unlawful use of force and violence against people or property to intimidate or coerce government or civilian population in furtherance of a political or social objective, unquote. The Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security agree that eco-terrorism is a severe problem, naming the most serious domestic terrorist threat in the United States today as the Earth Liberation Front and the Animal Liberation Front, which by all accounts is a converging movement with similar ideologies and common personnel. ELF and ALF are terrorists by definition.